Good afternoon, everyone. We are so excited to be here with the aging experts, and we have a wonderful speaker here. He does have a gift for you at the end, and he'll tell us about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to tell you that I'm with Life by Design, and I help you to live your life spiraling up, getting better and better every day, because that's what we all want. And we want to live the second half of our life better than the first half of our life. And I have here with me my wonderful co-host, Miss Barbara Ellison.
Well, hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Barbara Ellison. I'm founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. One of the things that I like to share with people is that I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception, because I truly believe that each and every one of us deserves to lead a happy, healthy, debt-free, financially abundant life. So when we've lost Carol a little bit, all right, well, she'll be back. Here you are.
My nose was itching.
Oh, can you tell this is a raw and real show?
We're kind of raw and real on here.
Raw and real. I was like, all right, where did she go?
But everybody to see me going.
Yeah.
That's RAW, not ROD.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so that's what this show is about. Just, things that you can do to be happier, but in this case today, it's if you have a business, to be protected. Yes. Because that's what this show is all about, is making sure that the things that you are doing are going to be the best thing for you. And when I first heard about what Andrew does, which I'm going to let him tell you, because I didn't understand all of it at the beginning. However, because he's one of those techie guys, and tech guys is, not my big forte. So he shares with people why it is so important of what he talks about. And I have to say that I had never, ever, ever heard of it or thought of it as a small business owner, because so many people, we are small business owners. We start our business and we're going to, because we're going to change the world with whatever it is that we do. And we don't realize the ramifications of starting a business. So, Andrew, first of all, thank you so much for coming. And sure. I love your logos protecting you as you grow. That's your business. Right. Because we all want our businesses to grow. But what goes into protecting our business as it grows? So that's what Andrew is here to share with everybody. And as Carol said, he has a free gift at the end, so which will make it a little bit easier.
The thing is there's so much we don't know. Barbara's always saying, we don't know what we don't know. And with all this new stuff that's out there, oh my goodness. You can get into a world of hurt with all this, and everybody's embracing it with both arms and thinking this is the best thing since sliced bread. And actually, Barbara and I've had a little glitch by embracing it and not following up to make sure it was doing what it was supposed to do. Not particularly what you're speaking of, but some of this
technology. Yeah. I mean, technology and automation.
And so even if you're using it, check it, make sure everything flows like it's supposed to.
Yep. I was excited to come on your aging experts because, like you said, a lot of people have started a business from home or doing something in the second part of their life. And computers may not have been what they were doing in the first part of their life. And so, this grand idea that you plop a computer down in your house, you grab a webcam, now you're able to get on and talk to the world. And without thinking, you don't realize how vulnerable you are. And that's one of the concerns I have for small business. They don't know how vulnerable they are. They don't know that they're connected to the internet. And there's 5 billion people on the internet. Now, which are the bad guys do you need to filter out? They don't even think about it. They don't think about how many are connected, but it's worldwide. And because it's worldwide, it doesn't mean that the internet criminal is the guy next door. Could be, but it can also be the guy in some other foreign country. Now, we immediately, when we're thinking about this kind of stuff, we immediately think of, oh, China and North Korea and stuff like that. Those are the organizations that are after government secrets.
Yeah, they go after the big guys. They go after the big guns.
They're after big stuff. They're not particularly interested in Mom and Pa's print shop on Main Street, USA. But Mom and Pop's print shop on Main Street, USA doesn't realize that they're already compromised, and there's somebody snooping around their systems to figure out who they're emailing, who their connections are with, how much is in their bank account. I read a story literally today where somebody talked about a ransomware attack, and they asked for $44,000. And the reason they asked for $44,000 is that's what was in their bank account. So they designed the attack based on what was available.
Well, and I had a friend today that posted she got frauded on her credit card. But they went and opened up more accounts and charged more things. When she called the bank, she looked at her bank statement, and Barbara, you can go read this because it's on my wall. I copied and pasted it, but it went from like something about, maybe my numbers are way off, but like 20,000 or so, or if it's 2,000. But then when they called the bank found another 1,000, and then it turned in they found more accounts and more cards. She had to totally cancel 2 cards, and they're digging through forensics and everything on this. It was just
Okay, we talk about ID theft, and lots of people understand ID theft. But where does the IDs come from? When a business has a breach, then the internet criminal gets a whole ton of information.
And sometimes your birthday and stuff.
Exactly. And so the problem is the ID thefts come because businesses have been compromised. And when a business gets compromised and hundreds of thousands, millions of records are stolen, they use those records, and they use those records to try and get into accounts. And the biggest problem is people have gotten used to computers, but they're not safe on computers. So they get on, they use the same password wherever they go because it's easy to remember. Oh, my bank one is different, but they're not using the things like two-factor authentication or other things that we talk about. But let me tell you a little bit about compliance specialists and why we exist. It takes more than just a little technology to make a business safe. It takes more than an antivirus program on the computer, or as Barbara and I talked about, a firewall. It takes more than that.
Found out I didn't have one, or not a good one anyway.
Wasn't even turned on. Yeah,
it wasn't turned on.
But the small business, 10 or less employees, are generally not served by IT companies because there's not much of a budget. There's not much of an interest. Hey, they call the IT folks if the computer won't boot up. Other than that, they figure it out on their own. I mean, after all, there's Google, right? One of my clients discovered after having me a few years that the managed services that I provided, they stopped having problems with the computers. That's because we were taking care of things ahead of time. And if you have a business, if you really want it to grow and not just be a hobby, then you really ought to consider that you need to take steps to protect yourself and to keep your computer updated and backed up in case something happens. I mean, there have been ransomware attacks where entire cities discovered they didn't have backup.
Or
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Your data needs to be backed up securely. You need to be protecting that data, and you need to have things in place to protect yourself from people making mistakes. What we call that is a written data security plan. It's policies, how you go about doing things. Now, when you're a single person, you think, I don't need that stuff. But the minute you get a couple more people, all of a sudden how you do things matters. Because what will happen is somebody won't follow procedure, and that's when a data breach occurs. Somebody clicks on something they shouldn't, and now the bad guys have access where they shouldn't have access. So preventing this stuff.
For husbands also.
Well,
it may not just be a business. It could be just within your household.
Well, and one of the things we talk to people about, particularly when they have a home-based business, is separation of work and play. Because the IRS would prefer that you have a separate computer for work. They really,
I use my one Mac for everything.
I understand. And lots of people do. But if you can, a separation of duties is a good thing to do. The other thing is separating the network. Now, this gets technical, but let me give you an idea from my own home business. I would have told you there were about 14 devices on our network. I forgot about the Wii. I forgot about people's phones. We had 31 devices. Well, I do not want to secure and document 31 devices. That'd be crazy, okay? I don't need to do that. I segment my network. I have my secure network with my PC and my printer and my router, and that's my secure network. The rest of the house is unsecure, and they're not part of the business. They're not part of that secure data. There isn't anything there that anybody wants to steal because it's TVs and, things like that. But I say that, but the other thing you do have to protect is mobile phones. And I think mobile phones are probably the weakest link in anybody's business because they don't even think about it. They don't think that they ought to do something to protect that device as well. And so, without rambling on forever, what compliance specialist is all about is bringing awareness to the business owner of all the different pieces that need to happen for them to actually be in compliance with the existing data security and privacy laws. They're out there. And the problem is you get a breach and suddenly somebody notices you. Now they're asking questions. Oh, why didn't you do that? Where is this? Or you've got a class action lawsuit because some people decided they're going to sue you because you weren't keeping your stuff safe like you said you were. The FTC calls that fraud. And they are going after businesses on that very basis. You're expected to keep stuff safe, and if you don't, you're liable. And if you have no program, no written policies, technically you could be criminally liable because this stuff is happening out there. I mean, after all, in your business space, they write articles and magazines about people getting breached and all these security problems. You hear about the Colonial pipelines, and gosh, you run the same systems they were running. You got Windows or you got Mac, and they had Windows, they had Mac. You really think you're more secure than them? It won't stand up in court. And I want to prevent the small business from literally being killed by these internet criminals that are looking for easy targets to steal money from and to literally end up destroying them by the time they're done. This is not something I want to see. There are 31 million small businesses with 10 or less employees in the United States. Wow. And I don't want to see them go under because of the internet criminals who have figured out that this is easier than peddling drugs to steal from small business. And a lot of it doesn't make the news. The big companies make the news. But the mom and pop shop that got hit for 20 grand and quietly paid it, it'll never reach the news. Maybe you don't have 20 grand. See the problem? Yeah.
Right. So what happens if they do get sued and they literally don't have the money?
Well, I would suspect they're out of business.
Right.
Whatever business you were working on all those years, and maybe even your house because it was in your name. You know, when those things happen, they go after whatever they can find.
Right.
And I don't want to see that happen. That's the thing that bugs me, because this is all preventable. You can make your system such that that internet criminal goes and finds some other unlocked door, not yours. And that's my goal. That's my object. My reason for being is I want to protect people. And, you know, people are getting older. They're doing stuff. Actually, some of them have money. Some of them have a fair amount of money in the bank. And those guys call them up and tell them that their computer's got a problem and they need to hop on. They'll fix it for them. And then they get into their bank account. And the next, oh, we transferred the wrong amount of money. Can you send it back? That's, yeah, they're scammers.
They're scammers.
They're total scammers. And recently you've heard of artificial intelligence. That just means the scammers are going to be slicker and smoother and smarter and faster. And I've become concerned about artificial intelligence and people jumping on the bandwagon to use it without thinking of the consequences. I read an article where this guy was talking about taking all your documents in your business and putting them in the thing and categorizing them and getting it so you can query all your documents at once. Great idea. But you just gave that artificial intelligence engine all your stuff.
All your intellectual property.
Yeah, now it became its.
Right.
Okay, because it learns from what it puts in. So you can't just do this without thinking. So
that's
my passion.
The backyard is the best place to keep your money.
Say what? In your backyard?
The coffee can in your backyard. Grandma
Only if you can find it again.
Yeah. I know that's one of the things that got me interested in what Andrew said was that because I do use the AI. I personally, though, I have to admit, I only use it as a tool to create content. And to just get some wording and stuff like that. But I've heard the horror stories of one of the companies that put all their coding in it to generate something else. And so all that coding then just became public information. And it was their intellectual property.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was because they didn't have a policy in place that said, oh, by the way, don't do that. Or maybe before you stick stuff in the AI, you have to get permission from whoever is in charge of that. So somebody takes a look at it and goes, maybe we don't want to do this. You know, just put the brakes on a minute and think. Now, I do see articles where they're starting to address this. There are people working on this problem of how can you process data without giving it to the AI engine. How do you go about doing that? They don't have it solved yet, but they're working on it. And I'm sure they will solve the problem to where it will be safe to use. But it might be something that you actually end up installing on your computer system rather than it being something out there on the web that you're using. See what I'm saying?
About the time they get that worked out, the scammers will come up with a new trick.
Yeah, well, the scammers, here's the deal. The scammers can now use the AI to write flawless emails, to write scripts, to write code. They don't even have to be an expert at coding. They can write code and that it will help them with the code.
You can't pick up the syntax of somebody who's never spoken English in the email because it helps fix that.
Correct. So what used to be easy to spot is gone away. You might as well They're going to be perfect. There aren't going to be mistakes,
Right.
no matter what language they speak.
I was just reading a thing this morning on the AI that they put 10 lawyers in a room and had them look for mistakes in litigation.
Oh.
It took the lawyers about 90 minutes and they found like 80% of the mistakes.
Okay.
The AI did it in 9 minutes and found over 90% of the mistakes.
Well, and I think of all the movies we grew up with about the machines taking over the world.
Like iRobot, and yes.
Yeah, cognizant themselves and just all of that. And I'm thinking, we're there. We are
One of the early ones was war games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You know,
I love
would you like to play a nice game of chess? You know,
Would you like to play a game of chess?
But we're not there yet.
But what are we doing right now that is going to prevent us from getting to that point where, because I think that's where some of the safeguards have got to come in.
There are a lot of people talking about ethics and safeguards that need to be put on it. I mean, that was the discussion that Washington had a couple of weeks ago, where the head CEO of OpenAI went and talked to Congress. He was urging them to, hey, we need some borders on this thing. We can't just let it go wild. I don't want to get into that too deeply because that's not my focus, and I'm not an AI expert. I specialize in compliance with data security and privacy laws. And so where my focus is I want the small business to be protected and not make the mistake that AI, you know, this wondrous thing is going to transform their business. All you have to do is give it all your stuff. Let's not do that.
It also goes to what I was talking about with Barbara and myself. It's like you've got to, even if you have those safeguards, you've got to watch it, because we put some automation in, even on our shows, where somebody comes for their pre-interview and then they automatically get the right link for the interview, because when we're doing 3, we make no bones about it. We record it because we've got 3 schedules to comply with. And it turns out that things weren't going where they were supposed to go.
And we didn't know.
Things we've never
Right.
and we don't know where they ended up. It's, you know, it's just links. So it wasn't like something proprietary or anything.
Right.
But still, you know, you've got to follow up and you've got to watch it, because, you know, it does make mistakes sometimes. And
Oh, yes. In fact, there's a lawyer in Texas who's in trouble because he submitted a brief and the court came back and said, these cases are invalid. We can't find them. The AI had generated fake cases and he didn't check the output. He just assumed it was right. So it is not always 100% accurate either.
So the AI's already lied.
It may not see it that way.
Ethics. There we go. We're back to ethics.
Yeah. I mean, how do you train a machine right from wrong?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah. When Andrew told me that, I was like, oh, yike.
Yeah. So my concern is that small business, we need to be careful and not be in a hurry. There was something I read today about AI creating podcasts. Imagine yourself preparing to be bored. Yeah, because if you take all the data in the world and you munch it together, you're going to come up with average. Wouldn't you?
Oh, that's true.
Isn't that the way it works?
Right.
You learn from all of it and then you come up with average. So I don't see where there's certain things where you do not want to use AI because it's not going to speak uniquely for your business. It's
Right.
going to give you generic, middle of the road, maybe accurate, maybe not.
Well,
we
and
have,
I've got to give that to Barbara because she does use it occasionally for content, for written content.
but she looks it over.
Yeah, we look it over, we
Yeah.
tweak it, we change it, we do those kind of things. So in that aspect, AI can be beneficial, but I don't know if you've seen the meme going around or TikTok video or wherever it is, where it's what if your psychologist is using
AI, that was a funny, that was a funny video.
it was
I bet.
I mean, to the point it scared the doctor and he fled the country. So it was a good little video. But tell people if you've got something that can help the small business with one piece of paper that will help with this.
Yes.
Okay, let's tell them about
we have put out for the public, and that includes anyone listening. If you go to compliancespecialistusa.com, click on the blog button, find the article on AI. We are giving away the artificial intelligence acceptable use policy. This is where a business publishes this, gives it to every employee. This is the rules on AI. This is how we're going to manage this thing. And it lays out what to do and what not to do. And this is I mean, we're in the business of making compliance policies for businesses. So this is an example of our work. But I went and looked for a acceptable use policy for AI. And at the time I looked, there weren't any. I think there was one educational location that had it behind a paywall, so I couldn't get to that. So I decided to write my own. I'm sure others are going to come out with more, but mine is designed with the small business in mind. It's written in language you can understand. It's not overly scientific. It's not overly technical. And if there is a term that we use, we define it in the definitions section. And this is the way we do all of our policies. So whether it's AI or whether it's your business password manager, you should have a policy on it so that everybody knows what to do and how to work with the way your business does business. That's what a procedure is. So a policy says, this is the way we're going to do things. And then you come up with the procedure as to what that looks like. This is what we do. This is A, this is B, this is C. And you don't go skipping around that because that's not the way we do business. So if you're going to allow AI, you probably want to check it out first. How are we going to use it? How are we going to check the output? Like Barbara is using it. Okay, she has a procedure. She uses it. She checks the output. She puts it in her document. She marks it and she checks the resources to make sure that it's telling her the truth.
Right.
I was doing one the other day and it gave me this stuff and I said, give me the citation. And I went and looked and it wasn't right. It was close. It was a document on the subject matter, but what it gave me was not what I was looking for. And I read the document. I'm, nope, can't use this. This is not close enough.
Right.
Your business reputation is still on the line. If you want to blame the AI, go right ahead and see what happens to your business reputation because people are buying from you, not from the AI. Okay? Isn't that what small business is all about?
Right.
Yeah. If you want AI, you'll buy from a big business. If you want personalized service, etc., you buy from a small business.
Right.
You buy from somebody you like and trust and all that. Well, let's not mess that up with AI.
Right.
In our eagerness to use this new shiny toy.
Yeah, this is huge. My brain is going through. I need to send this to so and so and so and so and so.
Please do. You're welcome to. We are giving this away
on our podcasts because we have so many business owners that have been on it, And, you know, with this, it's so new that so many people are jumping in with both feet. And
Right.
even our mastermind class, everybody
Yeah.
there has, you know, embraced it and, you know,
Yeah.
even taught on it. And so, yeah, this is exciting. So, tell them once again how they get a hold of this document.
ComplianceSpecialistUSA.com is our website. Click on the blog button, and you will find the article on AI giving this policy away. You can also just Google artificial intelligence acceptable use policy, and we're on the first page of Google, at least the last time I checked. So
Now that's pretty
Cool.
huge too. So, Barbara, last words?
Yes, you know what, Andrew, thank you so much. Because when I first heard this, it was like it was like, oh, we need to share this with people, because it is so relevant. So relevant. And that's one of the things that Carol and I pride ourselves on, is that we bring relevant things to the table.
Right.
So yes, thank you so much. And yeah,
Certainly.
so I would just encourage you, if you're listening to this or listening to the replay, reach out to Andrew, reach out to his website and get this form. And
Yeah.
protect yourself.
Yes,
Absolutely.
above all, protect yourself, because, you know, little businesses don't have all those layers of hiding
There's
that
a protection.
corporations do. So
Yeah.
if you're watching this on Facebook, please click like and share this out to everybody you know. And if you happen to be getting this on YouTube, please subscribe, ring the bell so you know when new stuff is coming out. Give us a thumbs up and then share it out to everybody else.
Yeah.
Because this is something every one of us needs. I mean, even if it's like a little home business, a multi-level, or the Tupperware lady, you know, if she's using that chat GPT to do her Facebook posts, it's something she probably needs to have in her wheelhouse, because, you know, and for the people that she works with. So it's valuable. And we just thank y'all for coming today. Thank you so much, Andrew, for giving us this wonderful information for free. Okay. Can we give that for free? So thank y'all. We love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Tell everybody about us. We're the Mavens of Motivation, and this is the Aging Experts. Bye now.
We'll see you next time.